I guess I was a lady who came to her business coach and life coach and said, I seem to have plateaued in my business. There doesn't seem to be much growth or things happening in the business. And the coach asked her, what is it that is important in your life or in your business? And she thought for a while and came up with saying, well, my daughter and my kids are quite important to me. And then the life coach said, if someone was to abduct your daughter, yeah, and demand that they are going to release her when you find and pay a ransom of $10,000, what would you do? And then she paused and thought, yeah, of course, she was going to do whatever it is that she would be able to do in order to raise that money and find that money and be able to pay that to release her daughter, because the daughter was a prized asset, someone who, is very, very high on her values, someone that she values. So it just illustrates actually the nature of businesses, because another illustration that came up is that if you have, let's say, if you take $1, yeah, if you that is the only money that you have, $1, that is 100% of your earnings, yeah. If you have $10 now, that $1 is now 10% of all your total earnings, yeah. And if you have $100, that $1 is now only 1% of your earnings, and so on and so on. So the more money that you earn, yeah, that little dollar becomes less and less a percentage of your earnings, which means you actually get to value it less and less and less. So if you've got a mission and a cause of, for example, to raise $10,000, yeah, by the time you get to the $10,000, any little sum of money like $1 to add to that, you don't value that as much because it looks as a very small or insignificant amount of money towards your $10,000 as a percentage. Yeah. So the point for this is that when your cause or your reason is not big enough in business or in your life, yeah, you tend to plateau. You tend to get stuck and lose the vision of direction of why you have to earn that extra bit. Unless it is a big sum, you're losing that motivation to earn that little extra. So the principle to put out to you is that, unless your cause or your reason is big enough and it grows faster than the depreciation of your motivation to earn that extra, you are going to plateau. Yeah. So the moral of the story is you need to have a big enough reason, a big enough why, so that it will give you that extra energy to keep going when those times are tough. When you have plateaued, when you can't think of an extra reason to go on, when you believe that you've reached it and there's nothing else to go for, because that is where the clarity goes. When people plateau, businesses plateau, they can't see beyond that big picture. So you get to be a small to medium sized businesses and you think that that is it, because now you've limited your thinking and your vision to that place. So any extra, it just gets you muddled and get clouded into the small space that you're in. But when you get to have your cause and your mission and your reason why big enough, yeah, and it's faster and moving and growing faster than the drop in motivation for you to earn that extra, because that is what happens, when you're earning, to earn that little extra, becomes a bit of a struggle, not so motivating. So there's a depreciation in your motivation as a result of that. So you need to have a big enough reason why, so that it actually grows faster than the level of dropping of your motivation to earn that little extra. So that is a good takeaway to take away today, that you need to have a big reason why, because if you plateau, when you get to a plateau, you lose your clarity, you lose your mission to go forward, and that is why you need to draw upon your big reason why. Because unless you can find that, like in the example of this lady who, had plateaued and couldn't see of how she could go forward. But when it was pointed out to her that, for something that is really dear to her, if something happened, the creative thinking, the creative vision will kick in, because now it is involving something that she values. Yeah. So have a big enough reason why that you value, so that its mission and its reason why it keeps growing faster, because you value it so much, so that as it grows faster, the drop in your motivation to earn that little extra is lower than the growth of your reason why. That's where you keep going up. That's how you keep going up. That's how you don't get to plateau. So I hope that helps you to get that clarity of, when you get to plateau, that you need to expand your vision, expand your big reason why, so that you can keep moving forward. So I hope you go out there, experience, learn, and grow. Until next time, cheerio.